Hi, good night, loyal opposition. Good night. How are we doing today? That is the $1 million question. I really and truly wish I could answer that question. I do not understand why the extreme. I don't know if we want to be extra. I don't know why are we taking these measures. I mean, it does not make sense. I mean, like anybody can look at this and realize that these things that they're putting forth are not making any sense at all, which makes me question what is the agenda. I mean, before I attack anything or I critique anything, I try to see what's the pros and cons. And really and truly, there's more cons than pros, and that's when you know for sure that you have an issue. Yes, I agree intensely when they removed it, but really and truly, as I say, when you look back at it, I'm still seeing a lot of flaws and a lot of errors in terms of the bill, and I really think that it needs to be replaced completely. Go back to the drawing board. If you want to come again, but this is not it. This is definitely not it. A very interesting address. I was not surprised. I knew it was coming. To me, I just felt that she did it more, as she would say, to lessen the noise, you know. But really and truly, it was all a mental game. It's all for sure. Really and truly, it was all for sure. She know what she's doing. She actually had to concede. It was not going to go down slightly. The noise was just about to get louder, as she would say. Um, so yeah, I'm not surprised. I was not surprised by it at all. I think it's a lack of education in terms of if you had asked the average Barbadian what is the role of the president, the majority will tell you to go to centenarians and tell them happy birthday. That's it, you know. So I think that they need to be a little bit more clear. I also believe that if you're going to select a president, she shall or should be independent of parties. You know, I do not believe that it should be somebody who's overtly supportive of a particular party being your president of a country. So I don't agree with that at all. Yes, it doesn't take an expert to know that this is causing for trouble. I mean, like seriously causing for trouble, especially for Barbados, which is so small, especially within certain communities as well. I mean, like you are forcing on trained individuals to actually intervene in violent situations, being put into account the psychological issues in terms of if they suffer with anxiety or if they're scared and just frozen to death. And then you use certain ambiguous language such as refuse or neglect. What is refuse or neglect? What if I'm scared? What
Right.
if the fact that I'm not capable to do it physically? You know, what is the age? From what age? You know, until what age? That is not clear as well. So these things for sure. I mean, like I thought I was angry when I first heard about the 10. Then I thought I was even more angry when I heard about the wiretapping. But this one is what really sent me insane. I mean, like seriously, this one's what really sent me insane. And I can look at it like this: if I was a criminal and I know for a fact that you had a hand in my arrest, a physical hand in my arrest, you will be the first person I come and visit when I return back on the streets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
would be the first person I actually pay a visit to. One, I can't attack the police because the police is protected by a system. So you
Hmm.
know, gotta go back to that same house. I can see you, I can see your family, your children. So you're putting me at harm. The next issue that I really do have is that when you make law-abiding citizens feel like criminals, you are causing for trouble. If you think it's noise now, and if you think these protests, the protests and we speaking out its problems, making the average man, law-abiding man, feel like a criminal and causing outlaws is asking for decay to your country.
Yes. Yes.
Is asking for trouble. I am
Absolutely.
telling you. And then what happens is you create a huge mistrust among
Hmm.
citizens and police. So there's
Correct.
already a mistrust between communities and police. So what you are doing now is that you are asking and
Adding to
begging,
that.
I'm telling you, for a huge mistrust among citizens and police.
Thank
Because
you,
if I'm
Zico.
forced to
Thank you.
do something, I mean, like,
Hmm.
if it is actually against your legal, not the legal right, but you're forcing somebody to inject themselves into a situation that they were not trained for. They were not trained for. They were not given the right equipment. And then also there's diseases. I go into a situation where someone eventually gets themselves cut or blood is in this. What am I supposed to do? Expose myself to a potential exposure to disease? I mean, I mean, it's ridiculous. Come on, how somebody can write this here and not object and say, well, this don't make no sense. This do not make any sense. I mean, no safety measures at all. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Is that something we think could be amended, guys? Don Zico.
If you ask me, I think this whole thing need to be dumped.
All right, so dump the whole thing.
Everything. Everything. I mean, like, seriously, every single thing. You're putting, I mean, you're forcing humans to come to commit to a physical act that can cause harm to you or to others. People who are not trained, people who suffer with psychological issues. Right now, there are people in communities feel unsafe today, even to testify, even to go court and say, yes, that's demanded. So you get yourself physically involved. You can imagine the amount of crime that can actually come out of this. I mean, like, if you're looking for solutions, if you're really looking to amend the bill, you're looking for solutions, you should start dealing with things with certain apps, information apps where you can go in, you can message and say, I see something, so I mentioning something. Well, there's a man in my neighborhood who sells weed to little children, XYZ, things like that. Continue to promote your crime stopper programs and stuff along those lines. If you really want to gain that civic involvement in terms of the citizens helping out the police, you understand?
Yeah,
Or if you really want to charge people who willfully go and obstruct police from doing their jobs, or people who decide to hide criminals and stuff along those lines. But when you're getting the average law-abiding citizen, are you telling them to get involved or I gonna lock you up? And that if you don't help, you have to pay a fine of $10,000. I mean, what's the motivation behind that? Like,
mm,
seriously, what's the motivation behind that? And then if I don't do it, I gotta spend a year in prison. So now I'm a criminal because I was scared.
yeah.
Because I'm a criminal because I never get in a fight in my life or altercation in my life. And then they say, you know what? I want to preserve my life. So now I am a criminal because of that. You cannot do that to, I mean, like, people. You cannot do that and make the average Barbadian or the average citizen feel like an outlaw. If not, you're gonna cause problems. I'm telling you, you're gonna cause problems. Civil unrest. You take this protest bad now. You take what we're doing bad now. I mean, like, they should give thanks to you, Marcia, for these peaceful protests. Because I am telling you, there's a dark cloud coming, and there's people who's upset and ready. I mean, and ready, up in arms and ready. So when these people come in and giving solutions and speaking out the things that causing the unrest, or we don't feel safe, or we don't feel good about these things, listen.
Yeah.
And I understood why she did what she did. But you said she came on and she spoke to the nation. She did it because it was good for optics. But really and truly, if you really want to do something, let me tackle the issues that do matter. Let me tackle deal with the situation. Let people go on a secret app, no identification necessary. You go in and say, well, you know somebody who sell guns, anonymous states, but they don't want to do that.
Mm,
This is why independent media is very, very important. When you sit down and you listen, I can give credit to really raised you. The prime minister is a very eloquent speaker. I mean, like, passionate and eloquent. And if you don't do your due diligence, or you don't pay attention and read and do research for yourself, and don't just lock yourself in an echo chamber. I mean, like, go out and look for the information and look for the news and get both sides and weigh them and see, well, is this critical thinking? This makes sense. I mean, like, then you start to understand and see things. Because I can be honest with you, listening to what she said, I was like, I started to question what I even I knew for myself. I was like, but are you sure? And then you breaking it down right now. I mean, and this is where this platform is so important. For those who may not have the means, for those who may not have the influence or the affluence or even the network to actually let the voices be known or even heard or information be spread. This is where platforms like this is very important. Not just legacy media and those that we hear from the radio and stuff along like that, but for platforms like this. And this is where we have to give credit where it's due. Because fancy words, wonderful looking presentations, little jingles in the beginning of a speech could sway you and influence you. But really and truly, do your due diligence. Listen, go and do some research. Don't lock yourself in an echo chamber, peoples. I mean, like, seriously, if not, one day we gonna wake up and we will not recognize Barbados. One day we will wake up and wonder how it got this bad. And it's small little micro. It's not the macro things. It's little things here, legislation here, there, and this and that and more. And then before you know it, Barbados is lost forever. So before you go, people, just do your due diligence, do your research. Don't lock yourself in an echo chamber. You understand? And Marcia, thanks once again, loyal opposition. It was a pleasure being here tonight. And everybody have a wonderful night.